see that video. I just want to thank you for having me here today to share my story of my son, Chris Henry. I'll just go down some things. I'm here to celebrate the life of my son, Chris Henry. Today is the one day that changed my life forever. On December 16, 2009, when I received a call from North Carolina,
It's okay, Carolyn. Just ignore this. I just want you all to know, I found out something today that as a mom of a boy, what do you think of when you see him doing that? Touchdown? What? One love for my mom. He started doing that when he was a little boy. They'd play tag, and he would, rather than tagging her, he'd do this and say, Mom. And then he said, let's keep that going, Mom. Let's make that our little communication. And so he would look up to her. He's not looking up to the sky. He's looking up to Mom in the stands where she sat. This touchdown's for you. That's a son who loves his mama.
I talked to Chris the day before he passed. It was maybe 4 hours on the phone. We talked about his wedding. We talked about him coming home on Saturday to get prepared for this big day he was going to have. I didn't hear from Chris the next day, but I got a phone call that changed everything, and it was from the police department. Said they needed to talk to me. They came over to my house and they told me I needed to get to North Carolina, but they didn't say why. They just said I needed to get there. Got on a plane, got to North Carolina, still didn't know what was going on with my son. I walked into the room and I thought I was going to see maybe some, at first I thought he was in an accident or he was locked up somewhere, but didn't know he was laying in the bed in the hospital room. And when I went and opened the curtain, his eyes was open. And we had a little saying that I always say, Chris, this is Mama. You know, talk to me, tell me something. And there was no response. So the doctors came in, they said he was in a serious accident and that he hit his head. His eyes was open, so I figured he was okay. So my first response was, can we cut his brain? Can you do something? They said no, that there was nothing that they can do. Because at that moment when he fell, he all had went to sleep. My family came finally. We all got together and we all shared some time with Chris. And they had this special person that came in the room and he wanted to talk to me because I was his mom. And Chris wasn't a donor, so they had to come to me and ask me that precious question of donating my son's organ and tissue. At that time, I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what to say, so I had to tell them, give me some time, and they did. Me and my family sit around and we talked about it, but like everybody, you know, you think about the things that they might do to your child or your family, your loved one, so you need a lot of thinking. My family really didn't want it because they were afraid that they would just cut him up and leave him there. But it wasn't like that. They explained to me the details and showed me different options that they can use and things that they can take and save someone else's life. And I told them at that time I had to talk to Chris because me and Chris talk about everything. And I put my head on Chris's chest and I felt his heartbeat. And his heart beat right into mine. And I knew that since he was such a giver, that it would be okay, that he would accept the decision that I made. So I went back out and I told the doctors, yes. mother